mist-shrouded hills of eastern Kentucky, where time seems to stand still, a chilling mystery unfolded in 1834. The remote Baptist settlement of Pine Hollow, barely a speck on any map, welcomed Reverend Ezekiel Morrison and his 9-year-old twin daughters, Rebecca and Rachel. What happened over 3 days would haunt historians for centuries. But what secrets did these young girls uncover that left an entire community frozen in fear? Pastor William Phillips, a meticulous record keeper, documented the events in his journal, discovered decades later when Pine Hollow's church was torn down. His entries describe 2 children with knowledge so precise, so impossibly accurate, that modern scholars remain baffled. Rebecca and Rachel didn't just predict the future, they revealed secrets buried for decades. How could 2 young girls know details no one else could? The Morrison twins spoke of tragedies that happened years before their birth, described people they'd never met, and revealed truths so undeniable they shook Pine Hollow to its core. Their words carried an eerie weight, as if they saw beyond the veil of reality itself. What unnatural gift allowed them to unravel a town's darkest sins? In 1834, Pine Hollow was a tiny settlement in the Cumberland foothills, founded in 1818 by families seeking religious freedom. With just 200 residents, bound by strict Baptist doctrine, the community revolved around a modest wooden church. Pastor Phillips, a learned man from Lexington, kept detailed records of births, deaths, and marriages. But what secrets did his records hide from the world? Ezekiel Morrison was no stranger to the Appalachian circuit, a weathered preacher traveling with his twin daughters after losing his wife during their birth. Rebecca, outgoing and charismatic, contrasted with Rachel's quiet, observant nature. Together, they were an enigma, finishing each other's thoughts with uncanny precision. Why did their arrival in Pine Hollow spark whispers of the supernatural? Ezekiel's reputation preceded him. Communities he visited experienced spiritual renewals, conflicts resolved, and faith restored. But those who watched closely noticed the real changes often followed private conversations with the twins. Their journey to Pine Hollow, through treacherous autumn mud, left them weary but alert. What did the twins see in their dreams that changed everything? On November the 15th, 1834, the Morrisons arrived at sunset, just as Pastor Phillips concluded evening prayers. The family's exhaustion was palpable, Ezekiel's boots worn thin, Rachel pale from fever, Rebecca's brightness dimmed. Yet their eyes held an unsettling awareness, as if they saw more than they should. Why did their presence make Pastor Phillips feel so uneasy? That evening, over a simple meal, Rebecca asked Mrs. Phillips about her rose garden, mentioning a blight from 3 years prior, a detail no outsider could know. Mrs. Phillips was stunned, her spoon frozen mid-air. Rebecca claimed she'd dreamed of the roses, but her knowledge felt far too specific. Was this just a child's intuition, or something far more sinister? The next morning, Ezekiel confided in Pastor Phillips that his daughters had disturbing dreams about Pine Hollow. Before he could elaborate, Rebecca appeared, her voice clear and chilling. "Pastor Phillips, beneath the 3rd floorboard from the altar, something's hidden that shouldn't be there." What shameful secret had the pastor buried under the church? Pastor Phillips' heart raced. He'd hidden a whiskey bottle beneath that exact floorboard, a secret symbol of his private struggle. Rachel added softly, "It's wrapped in a blue baby's blanket." The blanket belonged to the son Phillips had lost years earlier, a detail no one could know. How could the twins know such intimate, hidden truths? Ezekiel explained that the twins' abilities began in early childhood, growing more precise and inexplicable with time. What started as childish intuition became visions of events, people, and places they'd never encountered. Their knowledge defied every rational explanation. What did Sunday's service reveal that shattered the congregation? That Sunday, Ezekiel's sermon called for confession and renewal, but it was the twins' actions afterward that stunned the congregation. Rebecca approached Samuel Turner, a respected farmer, and casually mentioned the money he'd been skimming from the church collection. How did a 9-year-old expose a man's deepest shame? Before Turner could respond, Rachel turned to Martha Whitfield, the church's moral authority, revealing that her husband hadn't died in a farming accident, but had abandoned her years ago. The congregation froze as the twins exposed secret after secret. What other sins would these children drag into the light? One by one, the twins confronted members of Pine Hollow, Dr. Hayes' medical failures, the Miller family's hidden son, Thomas Brett's secret affair. Each revelation, delivered with childlike innocence, was impossibly accurate, leaving the congregation in awe and terror. But what was the darkest secret they were about to uncover? Rebecca stood before the altar, her hand on the wooden cross, and declared, "This sacred ground is stained. The Whitman family didn't die in a house fire. They died here, in this church." The congregation gasped as a 16-year-old secret began to unravel. What horror had been buried beneath their place of worship? The Whitman family, Jacob, Mary, and their twin daughters, Hope and Faith, were Pine Hollow's pride in 1818. Officially, they perished in a house fire, but Rebecca's words suggested a far darker truth. Elder Thompson, a founding member, stood to challenge her claims. Could the twins really know what happened 16 years ago? Rebecca described details no stranger could know. Faith's birthmark, Hope's locket, their clothing on the night they died. Rachel added that the Whitmans sought sanctuary in the church, but were hunted down. The congregation's whispers grew uneasy. What evidence would confirm their chilling accusations? Pastor Phillips recalled hushed conversations and unmarked graves in the cemetery. Mrs. Carter whispered of bloodstains on the church floor that wouldn't fade. Dr. Hayes mentioned bone fragments found in the church's foundation years earlier. Was the church itself built on the bones of the innocent? Ezekiel admitted his daughter's gift went beyond their mother's second sight. "They carry the weight of everyone's secrets," he said, his voice heavy with sorrow. The twins, overwhelmed, stood together, looking small and vulnerable. Why did their dreams reveal about Pine Hollow's bloody past? That evening, Phillips found a hidden journal by Pastor Hayes, Pine Hollow's previous minister. Its fragile pages revealed Jacob Whitman had uncovered the community's crimes, robbery and murder of travelers, and demanded justice. What did Hayes write that changed everything? Hayes's journal described a heated confrontation in 1818, where Jacob threatened to expose the community's leaders. The final entry was chilling. "They came to the church seeking sanctuary, but were followed. The Lord forgive us." Had the Whitmans been murdered to silence the truth? Rebecca appeared at Phillips's door, knowing exactly where he'd found the journal. "Faith showed me," she said, describing how the Whitmans were killed to protect a secret. The church was built with money stolen from murdered travelers. What evidence would prove this horrific claim? The next day, a solicitor named Thomas Brennan arrived, investigating Marcus Webb, a traveler who vanished in 1818. Rebecca stunned him by describing Webb's gold watch, buried behind the church with his money bag and bridle. Could the twins lead them to undeniable proof? Under the twins' guidance, an excavation uncovered Webb's watch, its cracked crystal and engraved initials exactly as described. Elder Thompson confessed, "Webb wasn't the first, nor the last. Pine Hollow was built on systematic murder. How many more victims lay hidden in the shadows?" A county sheriff and federal marshals arrived, turning the church into a courtroom. Elder Thompson admitted to killing the Whitmans, his own family, to protect the community's secrets. The twins revealed Mary Whitman was pregnant with twins when she died. What did this mean for the souls of the unborn? Rachel explained, "The Whitman sisters and their unborn siblings cry out for justice." The theological weight of her words stunned the crowd, suggesting the dead could still demand accountability. Dr. Hayes confirmed evidence of Mary's pregnancy. Could the twins' visions rewrite the nature of justice? Judge Harrison demanded to know how the twins knew such details. Rebecca replied, "Some truths are too big to stay buried." They described seeing the fear, hearing the last words, and feeling the pain of the dead. What other secrets did their dreams hold? The twins revealed the locations of more victims, some in a mine shaft, others in Devil's Creek, and 3 beneath the church floor. Excavation confirmed their claims, uncovering skeletons with personal effects matching missing person reports. How far did Pine Hollow's crimes truly extend? Elder Thompson confessed to 11 murders, including the Whitmans. The church, school, and mills were built with blood money. Judge Harrison declared the community must be dismantled, its assets sold to compensate victims' families. But was the horror truly over? Rebecca dropped a final bombshell. The crimes didn't stop in 1820. Others had learned the killer's methods, continuing the violence. The crowd gasped. Pine Hollow's legacy of murder lingered into the present. Who was still killing in the shadows? As the twins prepared to leave, Rebecca said, "The voices are quieter now." Ezekiel promised to help them bear their burden. Pastor Phillips resolved to stay, hoping to redeem the tainted ground through truth and repentance. Could redemption heal a community built on blood? 3 weeks later, Pine Hollow was a ghost town, its church dismantled, its residents scattered. The Morrison twins' story spread, a tale of children who spoke for the dead, solving mysteries with knowledge no one could explain. Were they divine messengers or something else entirely? The twins vanished from history in the 1840s, their fate unknown. Some say they continued their father's work, others believe they hid their gift. In Appalachia, whispers persist of twin girls who know secrets no one should, proof that some truths refuse to stay buried. Do you believe the dead still speak through the living?